All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth and Travel on a Dime. So, today we're going to talk about firewood as a side hustle and is it profitable and do I think you should do it? Now, I want to keep this video short because I could go way in the weeds. We could break down this versus that, buying this piece of equipment versus that. And I want to keep this way lighter because I think that you need just a little bit of information to see if this is good for you. And I also will do a comparison on an hourly that we time trialed versus something like DoorDash at the end. So, the first thing I would ask you is, do you already do wood for your own heating purposes? Do you already have like a stove or a wood burner or fireplace? So every year you go out and cut so many cord or whatever for your home. The second question I'd ask you is, do you work for a tree service? Because if you do, that changes this a lot. And third, I would ask you, do you own property with woods that needs maintained, or do you have a family member that does? Something like that. If any of these questions, any of these three are yes, then I would say you're probably an excellent candidate to do firewood. But that doesn't mean it has to be limited to that. Because you can also get wood all the time for free from neighbors, from the county township workers. You catch them when they're doing tree stuff. Asplund, different tree services around. There's Chip Drop. Sometimes you can use them, which is an online service to bring you chips and to bring you wood. You can get on Facebook Marketplace. You can get on Craigslist. You'd be surprised at how many different places you can get free wood. But that said, to be profitable in firewood, especially as a side hustle where it's not your full-time business, the first thing I would tell you is try and stay small. And what I mean by that is try to sell no more than third of a cord at a time. I mean, it might be okay to sell a few half cords, but the smaller amounts you sell, say a $5 bundle or a $5 bag, maybe in your area you can get more than that. But getting it in that, you're getting the maximum amount of money per wood. Now, another thing you have to take into account is equipment. Now, some guys will tell you need tractors and giant wood processors and stuff. I'm not talking about that. Side hustle, okay? So you could get away with anything that cuts. That means if you've got a chainsaw, I don't care if it's a Poland, I don't care if it's a battery powered saw, I don't care if it's a Stihl, a Husqvarna, a Holtz Pharma. It doesn't matter, guys. If it cuts and you can keep it sharp and keep it cutting, go with it. Everybody can play team this, team that. At the end of the day, as long as your saw cuts, that's a great saw. Now, you could get away with as simple as getting off work and you want a little exercise, so you swing a splitting axe like our Fiskars. That's how we do it, as far as breaking down big pieces. We just smash them with that splitting axe and then put them on the splitter. But it really wouldn't take much to come home and work for 10 to 15 minutes a night doing a little hand splitting. Or maybe you go out for 2 or 3 different sessions through the night. It's good for your cardiovascular system. It's honestly kind of good for your shoulders and back. So you could get away with just having a little chainsaw and a little Frisker splitting axe, and you could make firewood. Now, another option would be to get a log splitter. And we've gone through many, many different log splitters here, but realistically, we do wood for us, and I do some wood for my parents. So we've kind of always had log splitters. It's not like I went out and did that investment, but you can still find some log splitters that are pretty decent for around $500. I just sold one of our Huskies that was basically rebuilt, new cylinder on it, many different parts for $500. So they're out there, but you have to get one that fits your needs personally. Because some of them, the older ones especially, are very low to the ground, and that's hard on the back if you're spending hours over it. Now, how you sell is just as important as the equipment you have, because you can get online and you want to compete with all them guys. You can put a third of a cord for whatever. If you offer delivery, I guarantee you'll sell more wood. Guaranteed. Absolute guarantee. But what I've learned is the market to make the money is either online selling bundles or bags or smaller amounts like quarter cords. A lot of people don't have room for a third of a cord in their garage. They got this little 4-foot rack and they just want enough to fill that up. So there's a markup for bringing that. And then a lot of guys are like, I don't want to stack when I get there. Stack a quarter cord, it takes you about 5 minutes. You charge them $10, honestly. But what really sells a lot of wood nowadays, honestly, is around here. This is kind of a tourist area. So I'm selling to owners of properties, and then they resell to the customers when they come rent their properties. So that can be a big business, whether it's your local gas station, a non-franchise one, or a hardware store or something. They may start buying off you. But even if it's as simple as like we do with our roadside stand over at my dad's, you can put wood out there, put a price tag, put a drop box. I think you'd be quite surprised at how little thievery there is and how much money you can actually make. It is an excellent way to make some side money just for nothing more than going home and cutting up dead trees and basically splitting them up and letting them dry. Now, having a good product will beat everything else. When somebody finds out they can buy dry wood from you, they're coming back. I mean, that's just it. When they are satisfied with the amount they got and happy with how dry it is, they're coming back. That's the business model you want. Now, stacking versus tossing in a pile. I don't want to really go down this road much. I'm going to tell you that I stack all my wood 2 rows deep on pallets. All right. I want my wood super dry, and I want it to dry as fast as possible because I even have to kiln dry some of my wood in order to keep up with demand. And I'm still trying to stay small scale. In my mind, small scale is 50 cord a year. A lot of other people might do 5 cord a year. Now, I promised to talk to you guys about the relationship of money versus time. Now, I have some pretty good equipment. All right, I'm not running the most expensive equipment. I don't have a tractor, but we have access to different things. And I will tell you that if I'm not buying in logs, if I'm just like hauling it home or getting it off my property here, generally when it all comes out in the wash, we generally make $30 to $35 an hour. So it's good, but at the same time, if I get into a whole bunch of small wood, small diameter wood that takes longer to process, or if I'm buying in wood, then my profit margin goes down to almost $23 an hour. So depending upon what you're getting and how much you have to work it, your situation will be different. Now, I have a faster log splitter. I have a log lift on the side of my log splitter. So I would say average is $20 to $25 an hour. Now, that said, if I took the same time that most people get off work at about 5 and went out and door dashed, I'd make $20-some an hour, maybe 30, depending on the day, if I did it on like a Friday or a Thursday. So I think that if you already do wood, work for a tree service, or you have property with woods that needs to have the stuff processed, I do think it's a good idea. If not, unless you really like doing firewood, there's probably easier ways. If you have a bad back or any injuries, then I would say there's plenty of other ways to make money without being so physical, because it does tear on you over time. And unfortunately, once you get into it, you can never have enough wood. Never. You could sell every stick in a good market. You could sell every stick if you got good dry wood. But, I'm shooting for 50 cord this year. It makes you want to do more and more once you get started. I do think it's a good opportunity to make money. I think that there's a lot of people getting out of it, which makes it more profitable for us. So you can't go by what Bob down the street's charging for a third of a cord. You have to set your price point to make value on your time and not worry about people that say you're too expensive. Those are not your customers then. But with that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos. Make sure you give us a like. Let us know in the comments, do you do firewood, or do you see how that as a side hustle could work for you? Let us know in the comments. I want to hear from you. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.